What's your best, this is a bad idea, let's do it anyway, moment? When I was in high school and had my own job to buy things with, I decided I would buy a 4L pail of ice cream, a 2L bottle of A&W root beer and make a giant root beer float. I then proceeded to eat and drink the entire thing over the course of a hockey game. I did not throw up, but I definitely did not feel like eating supper that night. There are only a few times in my life I see an idea that I think is impossible. Then I realize I am an adult and can do whatever the fuck I want. I think this might go on the list. Mate, I am not sure you should worry about people calling you smart. In fact, I wouldn't worry about them making caustic comments like, he is of average intelligence, either. Yeah. If only I could say that one was uncharacteristically stupid. Driving a car on a beach when I'd never done it before. Immediately got stuck right at the bottom of the ramp going to the beach. Luckily there was a nice guy with a Jeep that went and bought a tow rope and pulled me out. Right after he pulled me out, another person did the same thing and got stuck in the same spot, so he pulled them out too. I had a similar experience years ago. First time driving on a beach, got stuck, got pulled out by a kind passerby. Then a cop pulls up and writes me a citation for being on the beach in a car that could get stuck. Turns out only SUV-style vehicles with four-wheel drive were allowed. What really frustrated me, and still rankles to this day, was that I had to pay to go on the beach in the first place, and the person at the gate who took my money obviously knew that my car wasn't an allowable one, but took my money and waved me through anyway. Still my fault for not checking the rules, but really aggravating that they wouldn't have warned me off. Bought an abandoned mansion out of foreclosure that used to be a hoarder house. 4 years into a 2-year renovation plan and we're not quite half done. Gotta say though, if you need to spend a year at home, this is the house to do it in. Plenty of space for every task and still have room to run laps. That doesn't sound too bad. 4 years into a 2-year renovation plan. Ah. Sounds like a movie starring Tom Hanks. In high school my brother was having a birthday party at our house and we had a pool. We took an air compressor and duct taped a hose on it and used it to breathe underwater. Then we started tying people to pool chairs and throwing them in the deep end with the hose to breathe with, see how long it would take to escape. We progressively made more and more difficult restraints. Several times the hose would come out of someone's mouth and we'd have to dive in and raise the person's head above water. How no one drowned that day I have no idea. Wow, that is some grade A dancing with death. Wasn't me but my second older brother, he was 7 I think at the time, was trying to light a bush in our backyard on fire while my oldest brother, 10 years old, stood next to him and watched while saying, "I wouldn't do that if I were you." The best part was when my dad caught them and asked what my brother was doing. He looked at my dad and said with a straight face, "I'm trying to talk to God through the burning bush." My dad laughed so hard that he didn't get into trouble. Lighting a bush on fire sounds like a good way to summon your username. Whenever my best friend says, "Do you trust me?" our conversation is usually, "Me, this is a terrible idea." "Friend, so you aren't in?" "Me, no, I'm in." "Duck it, let's see what happens." In high school I had a science project that we had all year to complete. I kept finding reasons to put it off until I realized I had only a week to complete my project. Realizing I wouldn't get it done, I decided to fake it. I was one of the first called to present my project. I presented my faked project on the whiteboard by drawing pictures of what I had intended to do and making up numbers for how long a mouse could live without oxygen in a 5-gallon bottle compared to how long they could live with a plant sealed in with them. One of my classmates asked if I really killed mice and what I did with them. I said that I had and just fed them to my cats. In the end I ended up with a B for standing in front of the class and spouting a bunch of BS. Edit, the class was a biology class. You should have just brought a cup of dirt. When I was in middle school I was staying the night at my buddy's house. We were bored and decided that we would fold his tube of toothpaste in half and wedge it in his bathroom door and then slam the door. When we opened it up there was toothpaste everywhere, like on the ceiling and shit. We did a half-assed cleanup job and carried on. The next day, his maid, who we liked because she was funny and we knew her pretty well, was crying and talking to his mom. Do they not like me? Have I done something wrong? She thought we deliberately shot toothpaste on the ceiling to make her job harder for her. Needless to say we felt pretty bad. Her buddy had a maid, Jesus you man must have been rolling in bag. Drink and text my friend that I had a crush on. Now she blocked me. Did you start out by saying, "You a McQueen"? This was pre-Game of Thrones infatuation lol. Skip putting on a condom just this once. 24 years ago. Still paying for it. But I love my son. He's a great kid. He's hours away from graduating as a pilot. So, best bad idea ever. riding a skateboard down a steep hill that ended with a 90-degree turn in a rocky river if I failed to make the turn. About halfway down I hit a half-frozen patch of ice and was almost keeping pace with the cars passing over the bridge. With no idea what to do and my idiot friends watching, I let out a big wee. Before tumbling for a while, followed by a good slide on my forearms. Took about a year for the big gouges near my elbows to actually heal. Eat some mushrooms and go into nature with a good friend. We discover a cute bunny. Proceed to corner the poor fella along a fence, slowly stepping closer and closer. The bunny looks left, path blocked, right, trapped. There is no escape. The bunny looks me dead in the eyes, into my soul, looks at my friend. We understand the disembodied telepathic message of this savage beast in an instant. Without a word, we simultaneously back away, knowing we were mere inches from certain death. If you had a holy hand grenade of Antioch, you would have succeeded. Me with my dad and my brother, let's play football today. We're 800 kilometers far away from our house and it's raining. Lol, I broke all bones of my left leg. I fainted several times of the pain during the 8 hours of travel to the hospital where I attend regularly. Before I went to a little hospital in a village and they put a temporary plaster in my leg. When I arrived, a lot of curious people were watching how doctors and my parents were trying to take me out of the car and how I was crying because of the pain. I've had a week in the hospital and 5 months in a wheelchair. It happened in 2016, I'm okay now, but I'm still hating the curious people. Playing video games in class. I brought in my gaming laptop and played COD the whole period without my fans in the laptop going off. Fireworks wars, light and point fireworks at each other. That's just a summer Tuesday in rural areas. Masturbating using my spit as lube after eating super spicy food. Post nut clarity before the nut.